Hello and welcome back to my workshop, and I'm in here doing hiking sticks at the moment. Nothing unusual about that. It is selling season after all, although Christmas is the main selling season for me. Yeah, getting back to the point in question. Couriers, the bane of my life, or if not the bane of my life, the thing that actually gets me the most nervous and twitchy than you can imagine. Yeah, couriers and the service that's provided. Ultimately, some will say with couriers you get what you pay for, and I guess that is true. But ultimately, I have seen, on forums, this problem is kind of like universal over a multitude of couriers, and but more prevalent in the cheaper end of the market, and naturally. But I digress a little bit. But let's get back to myself in as regard with couriers. Basically, I've got a order of 2 hiking sticks. One has got to its destination and one is lost somewhere in the ether. It's just somewhere. You can see the receipts of us purchasing the actual courier service. You can see us dropping it off on their system at the depot, the location, the start point, and it's been picked up and gone from that location to another depot, and from there nobody knows where it is. It's just gone to the place where all the other parcels seem to disappear. And ironically, there must be a huge mountain of these parcels, because if you look at forums and go online, this is not just a problem unique to myself. I mean, there must be a Mount Everest of these parcels somewhere. Where do they go? What happens to them when they're not claimed or make their... Something must happen to them. They can't all just go to landfill. But anyway, I digress again. Yeah, so basically, customer service and everything along those lines. It's a legal responsibility to myself here in the UK, and on top of that, it's a moral obligation to help the customer as best as I physically can. And by that, I've offered a refund, and I'm actually in the process. I have it here. The stick is all straightened, it's stripped back, all shaped, ready to go, tip on, and it's going to be having its wood burning after this video. Now, yeah, it's the burning and the request of the burning which makes it special to the individual. They've seen the photographs of the one that's, somewhere lost, and they want that stick basically. So I'm redoing it again, and yeah, I will send it with a different courier, and it won't be, no charge, cost or anything will be incurred to the customer. That's part of the service. But it's frustrating for me as a stick maker, because if you put time and effort into the individual item, that is lost. I don't have the satisfaction of knowing the customer's out hiking the hills, the dales, the moors, or just footpaths taking the dog for a stroll. I don't have that knowledge up here that it's being used. For all I know, this could basically end up in landfill now, which is frustrating because, as I said, I've invested personal time. More so than the actual, materials used, it's that thought of losing time. So here I am redoing it, and I'm happy to do so because, like I said, everything is for the customer. But, the thing is, when you pay for a service, you kind of expect it. Now, obviously, I've paid for the service. The customer has paid for it in the beginning, added to the item itself. So, both of us are not getting that service. Now, the courier carries your reputation, when it's taking your product to its final destination. I mean, even though it's not my fault that it hasn't got there, it's still a courier still carrying your is representing and carrying your name when that product is being onward taken to the customer. And you know, I feel let down. The courier service has offered us a refund, you know, because basically I suppose it's easier to do that than to trawl through warehouses trying to find this particular item, with probably, I would guess, little to no success in ever finding it. But yeah, we've refused the obviously the refund, and I'm just making this stick, and I'm going to send it with a different courier, and you know, guarantee it gets to the customer, if you will, or hopefully I shouldn't incur another issue. I've had an issue with another courier, funnily enough, which was a double order again, and a lot of personal like work went into it, with names, dates, you know, and things like that, of organizations that was on it, and a raft of artwork that got sent off with its companion. There was two, and they got sent off, but they never arrived at their destination. Now obviously customer contacted me and we could track it ourselves, and it never seemed to get there. So basically I went into the process of making some new sticks. They didn't want a refund because, quite simply, yet again, they'd seen photographs and they wanted that item because it was personalized to the extent and as they requested. So it meant more to them than me reimbursing them. So I made two more, sent them off, yet again a different courier. I mean, if I'm ever in this position, it's another courier. So I sent them off, and they got to their destination within a reasonable time frame. But about 3 weeks later, the first pair did actually turn up. But as a stick maker, you know, I can't sit here on my laurels wondering and expecting or even like hoping those sticks will get to the customer. There is such a thing as a reasonable time frame. So you know, I actually had to make those other two sticks and get them off. Like I said, they did eventually get there. The customer ended up with 4 sticks basically. They did actually send me a little bit of a reimbursement on my money on their own back, which they weren't entitled to. They didn't have to, and I didn't ask for. But you know, that just shows you they were genuine people, and they were prepared to work with me through this situation. But you know, as comical as it sounds, they ended up with 4 hiking sticks. You know, it wasn't, you know, how things should be done. So yeah, couriers, the bane of my life. Couriers, you know, get me nervous, anxious, and twitchy, because I operate at the bottom end of the value of the stick market. You know, my margins are really small anyway, but that's kind of like just makes me even more nervous. Like, you know, I've got time invested in that stick, you know, more so than the actual material worth and cost of it. It's the time that you lose and you can't replace, and you know, the knowledge that it's not being used for its intended purpose kind of does little sting more than the actual cost. I thought I'd just share that with you, and yeah, I'm about to start doing this one, so I'm going to crack on because I want to get the varnish on it today, so its first coat is drying, because that's 24 hours for that to dry before I can reapply, and you know, continue the process. I may need to polish out the actual varnish if it hasn't gone too smooth, and then reapply again an extra coat on top of it all as like a finishing coat. I'll have to wait and see, but like I said, I need to get a coat of varnish on this today because my whole effort is to get this to the customer as fast as possible now, and my normal time window of, you know, from when it's ordered 2 weeks is kind of out the window. I'm actually going to go all guns blazing to get this done for the customer. So yeah, this is Andy from Folklore Hiking Sticks, and yes, not everything is plain sailing. You know, when you're a small time, you know, hiking stick maker. I'm guessing, you know, the big boys can take their losses and things like that. But for me, it's not the financial implication. You know, it's the reputation, and on top of that, it's that feeling that the item isn't being used for its intended purpose, and one of my items out there in the general public. So yeah, all the best, take care, stay safe, and you know, I know this video has been a bit of a rant, or not a rant, but kind of a little bit of different than I usually do from the workshop. But you know, I suppose it's important to see all aspects of this kind of I won't call it business, crafting hobby, or you know, however you look at it or classify yourself. You know, it's frustrating when you're waiting for your own parcels, let alone knowing somebody's waiting for one of yours. Anyway, all the best, take care, stay safe, and I hope to catch you guys out on the trail.